Hello guys, I welcome you all on The Catalyst, and today we will discuss the very important series, and that will be of 2020 and 2021 current affairs. In depth we will cover each and every topic here. So this series is basically for 2021 and 2020 current affairs. So this will be a holistic approach so that we can cover all the concepts, all the international issues, economic related issues, sport related issues, science and technology, person in news, summit conference, as well as acts and bill, schemes of government of India, some miscellaneous topics, national issues, not only this but also art and culture. One more important is Indian polity, Indian geography. So all the important places in news we will cover in this, so that you may have a holistic approach, a complete approach, and a complete gist format will be completed here in this series. So this one is for 2020 and 2021. So let's begin with the session. So what will be the topic of today's? So first and foremost we will start from international relation. So what is the topic of today's lecture is? So we will cover the articles related to international relation in the past 1.5 years. So the topic will be from the international relation is India and its neighborhood. So we will discuss this topic. So let's begin with the session. चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं, और यहाँ पर आपको बिल्कुल ऑडियो वीडियो एकदम क्लियर होगा. आई थिंक 1 सेकेंड, शायद अभी आपको पिक्चर, यस. सो हेयर इट इज, ऑडियो वीडियो एकदम सही आ रही होगी, है ना. चलिए, तो यहाँ पर हम लोग स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं करंट अफेयर्स को. सो लेट मी टेक अ पेन. So how we will cover this whole series? It is a new series, and how we will cover? So we will discuss international relation within 4 to 5 lecture. Later we will come to Indian polity. So these all will be current affair related issues that will also cover the syllabus concept of GS paper. It will be covered here. So policy and schemes in the last 1.5 year, act and bills, Indian geography, economics, we will discuss economic current affair, science and technology, general science, human health, environment, ecology, and art and culture. These are the important topics. These are the important subject topics, and here we will cover the very first, that is India and its neighborhood. So neighborhood relation we will discuss here. So the very first article on your screen, that is China is developing large dams over Brahmaputra and many of the rivers. What is the target of China from 2012? That it will made, China will made 87,000 of dam, and it is a kind of dam diplomacy. Dam diplomacy. And what is it? In case if any country is not working in the line with China, like China's neighbor India, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, they are not doing in the line of Chinese administration. In that case, what will China do? Either it will stop the supplies of water, because these are the large capacity dam, or if there is kind of war issue, then it will release water. One more thing, you must have heard this about this, that because in February, March, China is very confirmed about the pandemic, and it is well aware that WHO and world's country will deploy their administration to check whether China is whether the COVID-19 is developed from China's Wuhan virology lab, or from any fish seafood market, or from where. So they release large amount of water from a dam in their own region, so that they can hide the evidences. So this is a way how China is a very different type of country. So here it is developing dam, Yarlung Sangpo, it is known as Brahmaputra in China. So China is planning to build a huge dam on river Brahmaputra, which has raised concern in the downstream countries like India, Bangladesh. Here Brahmaputra is related to India and Bangladesh, and many of the countries like Mekong River. It is flowing in 5 more countries, then not only in China. So this is the dam diplomacy. So Yarlung Jangbo, the Brahmaputra, it is called in China, the mainland China, is one of the longest river in the world. It is around 2,880 kilometers length. So the trans-border Yarlung Jangbo originated from Majiangjom glacier. Majiangjom. Sometimes we also say this is Chem Yungdung. It is a glacier located near. This glacier is located near the Mansarovar Lake. So from this glacier, this water flows into Arunachal Pradesh and Assam, and later in Assam, this river is known as Brahmaputra. And this Yarlung Sangpo is known as Siang in Arunachal Pradesh. So in this way, total length of, first and foremost, I want to tell you some basic figure so that you may have a clear idea about this. So of total 2,880 kilometer, this is actually flows, right? This is a single word. So 2,880 kilometer Yarlung Sangpo. So it flowing 1,625 kilometers in Tibetan Plateau, and here it is known as Yarlung Sangpo. Later it flows in India and it is known as Siang and Dihang and Brahmaputra. Siang, Dihang, Brahmaputra, and it is 918 kilometer. So different name it consists in India, and in Assam it is known as Brahmaputra. So Bangladesh, rest with Bangladesh 337 kilometer, and Bangladesh, these two rivers Jamuna and Brahmaputra, these may confluent on a point. So Jamuna till it confluence of Ganga near Golando. So यहाँ पर क्या होता है, what is happened actually, Brahmaputra, Ganga from India, these both river confluent and it is known as Jamuna. So what is the China's plan? The dam is to build on the river in Madoc County. It is a location where it drops by 2000 meter, जहाँ पर ये 2000 मीटर से नीचे गिरती है, 2000 मीटर, and making it ideal place for harness the hydroelectricity power. So this region is where Madoc County, and the region is located in Tibet Autonomous Region governed by China. So in 2010 China began the construction of small dams. I have already told 87,000 plus dams China wants to construct. So it is under the dam diplomacy. It is also have a nuclear power plant mission in which there is a requirement of water. So nuclear power plant. By 2060, China wants zero carbon emission, and that is why it is working at large scale with the nuclear technology. Even East you have heard a sun like tokamak, in which they will use nuclear fusion technology. So in this way, China have various purposes for related to war, related to diplomacy, related to harnessing the electricity, etc. And in this way it is developing these dams. So the important diagram I want to show you, this is the reason I'll talk about, that this is a Brahmaputra river, and Brahmaputra river flows from the near Mansarovar Lake, and it enters on this point. This is Yangyap Pass. It is Yangyap Pass here where it enters into India. Now this river having different dams. Here you can see how many dams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 dams consecutively. So Zhangmu Dam has a capacity of 510 megawatt capacity. It is a hydroelectricity plant. See how large it is. So China's Brahmaputra Dam project, the government is planning to build super dam on the section of Brahmaputra river because you know that Brahmaputra carries a lot water. So here it is Madog project, Madog County. 3 gorgeous dam had been developed here. So one is Jangmu Dam, second is Great Band Dam. Here it is Great Band Dam, Great Band, Jangmu. So these are the dam, and in India it is known as Siang River. India has also developed many dams because this flow in Assam, it creates flood regularly. So many times Bangladesh also has a problem with India also. So this is Jangmu. You must remember this name, that is Jangmu Dam, right? And one is Great Band. And this Jangmu Dam is operational from 2014. So continuously China is developing dams. One more project, that is Kohala Hydro Project. Where it is located? It is located in China-Pakistan Economic Corridor region. Here in this region above our Kashmir, here the Gilgit-Baltistan region. So it is administered by Pakistan. That is why it is known in POK, Pak Occupied Kashmir. So in this region there is a dam known as Kohala Hydro Project plant located in China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which goes up to the Gwadar port as well as up to Karachi. So that China can bypass the South China Sea, Indian Ocean movement of the ships directly. The material or supplies will go to China's mainland. So in this way they are developing a multi-billion-dollar Kohala Hydro project. India is against this project because the Pak occupied Kashmir is a region which is of the bone of contention between India and Pakistan, and it is a controversial region, and that is why India don't want even any road, but they had developed China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Now they are developing Kohala Hydro project. So about this project, first, one of the most important point is Kohala Hydro project located on Jhelum River. It's aimed annually to providing more than 5 billion units of clean and low cost electricity for the consumers in Pakistan. It will be benefited to the Pakistanis. So China wants to flourish them so that Pakistan may be a threat to India, and that is why China also take the favor of Pakistan. So Jhelum River, you know that it is originated in the Verinag spring in Anantnag district. After passing through Srinagar, it flows into Wular Lake, and from Wular Lake, that is the largest freshwater lake, then passing through Baramulla, Uri and Baramulla, ultimately it enters to Pakistan. And here in the POK region, they are developing Kohala Dam. So Jhelum is only major Himalayan river which flows through the Kashmir Valley. And here Indus, Tavi, Ravi, Chenab are also major flowing river. So here CPAC is a road between Pakistan and China that is 3,000 km long, connecting China and Pakistan with rail, road, pipelines, optic fiber cables. So it is the panacea for both the countries. So this connects China's Xinjiang. It is not Xinjiang, it is Xinjiang province. It is above India, above the Karakoram region, with Pakistan's Gwadar port, providing access to China to the Arabian Sea in case if there is any kind of issue in Indian Ocean, if in case there is any issue in South China Sea, China will not face any problem of supplies because of the CPAC road. It passes through Pak occupied Kashmir and conveys it protest to China. India always conveyed a protest against this development. India's view on development that this is a illegal dam. Why? Because India's stand is always CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is Pakistan illegal occupation in Kashmir, and China and Pakistan are jointly accelerating construction under Belt and Road Initiative. So it is one of the part of BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. You have heard about this also. Group of 17 plus 1. What is 17 plus 1? 1 here is China and 17 countries are of Middle East, Pakistan, as well as some Eastern European countries like Latvia, Estonia, right, and Lithuania. But recently one country left this. So this is a very huge project by China, Belt and Road Initiative, to connect the regions of the whole Asia and some part of Europe. So the project passes through Gilgit-Baltistan in POK, in which New Delhi considered its territory. Always India considers this territory as New Delhi. They have occupied this region, and this is CPAC region. It will ultimately reach to Gwadar and Karachi. So India and China has activated the working mechanism at the diplomatic level. So India and China activate the border mechanism talk. Always India and China have different 5 round of talks, different talks we are regularly doing. So military level, just to de-escalate and de-engage, we regularly exercise this, right? Top army personnel, diplomats are doing in this way, and there is a conversation regarding this. So on this issue, working mechanism for consultation and coordination on India and China border affairs, there regularly consultation and coordination is going on, and in this form of mechanism, the very first and very important, this is a most important point for your exam related to India and China relation, the working mechanism for consultation and coordination on India-China border affair. The working mechanism for consultation and coordination on India and China border affairs. So WMCC, India-China border affairs, and it was set up through an India-China agreement that was held in January 2012 for the improvement of institutionalized information exchange on border related issue. So regularly we are sharing some information, but many times we had seen that China is not sending various information, and it do all the sudden things, and that is why India surprised always, and that is why we are not believing completely on China. But there is a mechanism, and this was first suggested by Wen Jiabao. Who is he? Like in present, Xi Jinping is the president of Pakistan, president of China, and one premier, that is Li Keqiang in present. In the same way, Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao was the premier at that time. Wen Jiabao is the premier at that time, and it was finalized at 15 round of special representative talks in January. So there were already 15 round of special representative talks in January 2012. I'm sorry. Since then, multiple rounds have occurred for this resolution. So important pacts, there are 5 major pacts had been signed, agreed between India and China, and the pacts, and these pacts are from 1993 agreement on the maintenance of peace and tranquility along the line of actual control in India-China border areas. So we both want peace and tranquility, but there are many of the issues. So one issue is salami slicing. This you must have heard. Salami slicing, what is it? China do one thing always, that sometime it attack from Arunachal Pradesh, sometime it attack from Doklam region, that is in Sikkim, sometime it goes to Galwan Valley or Pagong So, and many times it surprises just to put a pressure on India from the different region. And ultimately what it do, it first pressurize, and ultimately it grab that region, that part. So this is a salami slicing. So but there are various method we are regularly coordinating, in which 1993 Agreement and Maintenance of Peace and Tranquility along the Line of Actual Control, LAC, that is between India and China in the Ladakh region. So what is line of actual control? Line of actual control is this part. This part is line of actual control. This one here in this region, Galwan Valley, Pagong So Lake. This one is Galwan. Pagong So Lake is located here, this region. So in this way we are doing this 1993 Agreement on Maintenance of Peace and Tranquility along the Line of Actual Control. One more is Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China Border Affair, that was on 2012 by Wen Jiabo, suggested by Wen Jiabo. We are regularly doing the round of talks. So what is line of actual control? So India and China has a border around 3,488 km long. But what is the Chinese claim? China says that this is only 2,000 km. Basically China claimed that all the McMahon line and LAC, it is not the part, like whole the Arunachal Pradesh, China says that it is the part of Tibet Autonomous Region. So China used to claim it, and many of the region in Uttarakhand, in Himachal Pradesh, in Ladakh, in Sikkim, wherever its boundary, it says that it's its part. So this is a issue, and that is why we have also deployed the heavy armed forces, as well as we are regularly BRO, we are regularly deploying the roads and networks with using BRO, Border Road Organization. And this is the main concern of China, that why India is developing in roads in the conflicted areas. This is the China's issue, but basically this is the part of India. So LAC is the demarcation that separates India controlled territory from Chinese controlled territory, that is LAC in Ladakh region. So China says that only 2,000 km, but actually we have a borderline of 3,488 km long. So division, it is divided in three sectors: the eastern sector, which is spans Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim; the middle sector, Uttarakhand, Himachal; and western sector, that is Ladakh. These are some divisions. So here one more issue we have faced in last year, that is assessing the critical importance of Chushul sector, a very important sector for India. This had been also used in 1962 war, and it was the beneficial area. It is the most important area for India to fight against China in this region of Ladakh. So there was China's standoff in Chushul sector, and we have also we had also seen the skirmishes in which there are around of hundreds of 600 of armed personnel will fight each other with some handmade equipments, and there 20 Indian army personnel died, and here 40 to 50 people from China. So we had seen in the standoff. So the Chushul subsector has come into the focus of a standoff between India and People Liberation Army, that is of China, People Liberation Army. So what is Chushul subsector? It lies south of the Pagong Tso in the eastern Ladakh. So where is Chushul? This Pagong Tso, below this, here Chushul, as well as Razangla, where Yadavas fight. Yadav regiment is, that is why Yadav are demanding the Razangla regiment. So it comprises high and broken mountains, because here some 8 fingers also in this region. This is also the part of this. So it comprises high and broken mountain, very rough topographic region. Black Top, Hamlet Top, these are the region near the Pagong Tso, below Pagong Tso. Gurung Hill, Magar Hill beside passes such as Razangla, which I was talking, Rachin La. What is La here? La means in Tibet, it is pass. Pass means Darra. So Spangor Gap, Chushul Valley, this Chushul Valley, there was a standoff. So this Chushul is situated at the height of 13,000 feet close to the line of actual control. The Chushul Valley has vital airstrip, a very important, vital का मतलब होता है important airstrip that played an important role in 1962 war as well against China. So due to its location, due to its strategic position, Chushul is one among the 5 border personnel meeting point. So we have 5 border personnel meeting point, right? BOM points. So meeting with Indian Army and People Liberation of Army of China. So here this disputed and sensitive areas. So I want to cover this whole disputed and sensitive areas between India and China. These are total 23 locations. So first we will map this so that you may understand these names. So here it is, here a map. So in the Ladakh region, here Galwan is also issue here, because we are developing border. BRO, we are also Darbuk road we have developed here. So in Ladakh region, Damchok, Trig Heights, Damchele, Pagong Tso, Chumar, Spangor Gap, these are the region in Ladakh. In Himachal it is Korik and Shipkila Pass, and it here Barahoti and Pulan Sunda in Uttarakhand region. These are the disputed areas. In Arunachal Pradesh, the name are Namkha-chu, Sumdorong-chu, Ashfila, Longju, Dichu, Yangtze, Fishtail, Dibang Valley. And one more important reason for the China is the Tawang Valley. Tawang is the third most important religious place for Buddhist. So these are the 23 disputed sensitive areas along the line of actual control, and this McMahon line that is located in Arunachal Pradesh. McMahon line is located in Arunachal Pradesh, and China do not consider it because that time mainland China was not that existed. So 23 disputed sensitive region are these which I have told you. These all region I have covered. So China regularly taking advantages of salami slicing. Even in Sikkim also, the Tri-Junction Doklam, Galwan in this region of Aksai Chin, near Aksai Chin of China. So one more point I want to cover here, that this above region is what this region is in Pakistan. It is known as Gilgit-Baltistan, but India says is Pak occupied Kashmir. Here is this region. This is Aksai Chin, that is under the control of China. Here it is Siachen, and the above region of this region, it had been gifted by Pakistan to China in 1963. This region. सो आई थिंक आपको काफ़ी हद तक पॉइंट्स कवर हो गए होंगे. डारबुक रीजन, श्योक, डारबुक, वी हैव डेवलप्ड अ रोड हेयर, वी हैव डेवलप्ड अ दौलत बेग ओल्डी road, then Galwan, Shyok, Darbuk, and then Leh. We have developed a road like this, and this is a claim said to, this is a claimed area said to China that it's his part. But whenever we have developed road network in Arunachal Pradesh, it has claimed something in regard the strategic issue with India. So strategic importance for India. Chushul enjoys tremendous strategic and tactical importance because of the location, terrain, which make it center for the logistic deployment, right? Logistic को वहाँ पर आसानी से hold किया जा सकता है. And 1962 के वार में it was very helpful for India. Easy connectivity, so couple of kilometers wide where mechanized force, mechanized means hold this lightweighted tanks can also be, including tanks can be deployed. Airstrip is here. Connectivity road to Leh, operational advantages. We are also developing road. Capability to dominate. Indian troops have now secured a ridge line in the subsector and allow them to dominate Chushul Bowl in Indian side and Moldo sector on Chinese side. So clear sight, very important. It is a clear sight for almost 2 km wide Spanger gap, which the China used in the past to launch attack on this sector in 1962. So this is a clear sight, and that is why Chushul sector is very important. So I think this whole article you may have covered with the proper strategic point. What all are the location clarity. So India China 5-point action plan, which I was talking with you previously. So this plan is also very important. India China have agreed on 5-point courses of action for disengagement. India and China regularly reducing the tension. Basically China just want to pressurize India. If in case in near 2-3 years, if China attack the Taiwan, because it is sure shot, China wants this Taiwan. It do not consider Taiwan as a country. So it consists Taiwan as mainland China's part, and they will attack, drastic attack soon we will have. And that is why USA is also engaged with Taiwan nowadays. Various supplies, vaccination they are providing. So basically China just want to have a pressure on India. If in case it attacked Taiwan, India cannot raise any issue, because if India will raise issue and many countries will raise issue, China will be pressurized by many of the countries in the world. There may be attack from Indian side with the help of US, and various things can be allowed, but India will never allow any other armed force in the land of India. So basically you must consider these points, that this is the Kashmir administered by Pakistan, Pak occupied Kashmir, area ceded by Pakistan to China, claimed by India 1963 mein, it was given to China. Area held by China, claimed by India, and this region is called Aksai Chin. This one is Pak occupied Kashmir. So disputed area, again this also China says disputed area near Pagong So Lake. It consists that its area, that is again Arunachal Pradesh. This whole McMahon line, it do not consider disputed border. This is said by the China. So basically what is the problem? China do not have the problem with India. It has the highest number of countries bordering to China in the world, and it is regularly doing the same thing in the different countries also, not only with India. So here we need to collaborate and to make pressure. So 5-point, and India don't want to enter any third party. So Indian armed forces are far good. So that is why we believe in ourselves, and we used to resolve our issue at our own hand. So disengage and to reduce, there are 5-point action plan. It aimed to ease the tension between India and China. Both the side agreed to strengthen communication. This is the initial stage, that communication will clear everything. Avoid action would escalate tension, but China used to escalate. So two countries and refrained from sending more troops on border. But you had seen that nowadays China have developed a complete border forces here, deployed border forces near around this. India has also put most of the army there. So 5-point plan is not allow differences to become dispute. So this 5-point are just to, these are what, first point is 5-point plan is not allow differences. There should be no differences. Disengaging quickly to ease tension. If there is any kind of tension, there should be disengagement. Abiding by existing India-China border protocol and avoiding escalatory action. What India do? India used to ban things. India used to ban trades, right? So this point is a very important point. Here, this point is Nathula, where maximum trade happens. We have banned many Chinese app as well. Continuing dialogue between special representatives, national security advisor, as well as other mechanisms. So here Ajit Dabhoy play a very important role. Working towards new confidence building measures. So these are the 5 points to disengage the war, right? Disengage the war. These are the 5-point plan. How signify is the development? It reiterates the process of dialogue, disengagement, easing of the situation. All this were comprehensively dealt with the previous 5 agreement given below. So these are the important agreement held in different timeline. In 1993, I have talked about maintenance of peace and tranquility agreement between India and China border affairs. In 1996, we have developed confidence building measures. In 2005, we have standard operational operating procedures, SOPs, that is known as SOPs, standard operating procedures, and patrolling modalities, how there will be engagement in what there are rules and regulation protocols of SOPs between India and China. So it was in 2005. 2012, there was a process of consultation and cooperation given by Wen Jiabao, and 2013 border cooperation agreement signed as a sequel of Dapsang intrusion by PLA. So Dapsang region. So I have told you that many of the reason it had been done intrusion. So where were all places India and China's dispute? Aksai Chin. This is claimed by India. China says it is part of autonomous region of Tibet. Dapsang plain they have attacked in 2013. Dapsang plain are located on the border of Union territory of Ladakh and disputed zone of Aksai Chin. Chinese army controlled most of the plain during 1962. Right, we had been a great setback in 1962. Damchok and Chumar region, that is again Leh district of Ladakh controlled by India. Damchuk, China claim that it is the part of China. Korik Shipkila, Kinnaur district, Himachal Pradesh. We have discussed already. We have already discussed in the map as well. Nelang, Pulam, Sumda, Sang, Jadhang and Lapthal. These are the region of Uttarkashi, and a new issue raised by Nepal related to Limpiadhura, Lipu Lake and Kalapani. These 3 regions claimed by Nepal that it is part of Nepal. But India claimed that it is part of the district of Uttarakhand located in Pithoragarh. So it is because of the diplomatic pressure from China, Nepal is pressing us. So Barahoti in Chamoli district of Uttarakhand, whose grazing field are disputed by China, which also the part of state of Uttarakhand. Trans Karakoram track, that track which had been gifted to the China. So Sakshgam river, Sakshgam valley, you have heard about this. Trans-Karakoram tract that is gifted by China, by Pakistan to China. Arunachal Pradesh, this whole Arunachal Pradesh, it is saying that, or India created Arunachal Pradesh in January 20, 1972, a state, and we are now developing the roads development. There is regularly a road development is going on there. So this is all about the China and India relation in past 1 year. Now we will talk about Pakistan's new political map. When we had revocation of the Article 370 and 35A, that is related to the state constitution of Jammu and Kashmir. So Pakistan showed a new political map where the whole Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh region Pakistan has showed in its map. So this has happened actually. So Pakistan released a new political map in August 2020, when August 2020 was the month where this article revoked. So it includes even not only the above region, that is Jammu Kashmir, whole Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, but also include Ladakh region, whole Ladakh, Sar Creek line, which is the 96-kilometer strip, which is under the international treaty. It was the part of India, and the Junagadh region. We will discuss about it. Junagadh region. I want to show you in this map, one map, that is Indian map. Let me give you the points so that you may aware about. So here in this region, it is the Sar Creek line. It is here in this line, that is part of Run of Kutch. This Junagadh part is also claimed by, showed in the map of Pakistan. Also this whole Jammu Kashmir region, also the Ladakh region is showed in the Pakistan map. I think you now have a clear picture what Pakistan had done. So the new political map links with the Pakistan with the Chinese administered territory via Sakshkam Valley, a part of Gilgit-Baltistan region ceded by China, and Pakistan under 1962 border settlement, it had been gifted. So that region is the part of China's, but most of the part it shows to the east of Aksai Chin region, the limit of China's claim in the Kashmir, which is controlled by. So up to the LAC, Pakistan shows in its own map. Between two lies even Siachen Glacier, where Indian soldiers there. That part also been declared as Chinese part. So we can just laugh at this act. De facto border between Pakistan and Indian administered Kashmir. So this whole region they claim. Changes in the map. The new map showed the frontier clearly marked with India and entire Kashmir. This whole region they have told that it is there. So in this way they showed a map, right? Pakistan did it. So Sar Creek region, Junagadh region, I have talked about it, the coastal region of Gujarat. Sar Creek is a 96-kilometer strip and the water disputed region between India and Pakistan in the Run of Kutch, and it is originally named Ban Ganga. Sar Creek is named after British representative who resolved this issue, and it is a very important, Sar Creek region is the very important fishing ground in Asia, Kutch region. So in this way they are showing their interest here, and this is the CPAC road, Gwadar to Pakistan, Lahore, Islamabad, and then Pak occupied Kashmir, and later it reaches to China. So Junagadh region, it is located in the Gujarat foothills. Junagadh takes the name from the fort, that is Junagadh, and Junagadh was also important. Dekhiye, not only this that China claimed it, Pakistan claimed it or showed in the map, but important trade in history, Ashokan edicts also found in the Junagadh. You have heard about this. At the time of partition, Nawab of Junagadh opted to take his tiny state into Pakistan. But how it is possible? If Hyderabad wants to enter in the Pakistan and this whole region is covered by India, is it possible? Like Bangladesh, it is also not been a successful bifurcation from India. And ultimately in 1971, Bangladesh free itself with the help of Indian Mukti Vahini Sena. However, the predominantly Hindu population forced Nawab to leave the country, and ultimately he left the country and reached to Pakistan. So one more issue which always had been between India and Pakistan, that is Indus Water Treaty, a very important dispute between India and Pakistan. But we had done a successfully Indus Water Treaty. Many times there is a small issues are there, but so far we had not issue in large regarding this Indus Water Treaty, that is international treaty. So September 19, 2020 marked as 60th anniversary of the, so we had seen in September 19, 2020, it was marked of 60th anniversary of Indus Water Treaty between India and Pakistan, right? One second. So India and Pakistan, this treaty is often cited as the example of possibilities of peaceful coexistence that exist despite the troubled relation, but still we have peaceful relation in water related issue, and this is a masterpiece work, we can say. So Indus Water Treaty is the World Bank brokered settlement. So very important point for you, World Bank brokered settlement it is, and it was signed in Karachi on September 19, 1960, and its 60th anniversary we have celebrated in 2020 between Pakistan and India. So 6 rivers basically in Indus system, which are large rivers. So what we have decided, sharing formula devised after prolonged negotiation sliced the Indian Indus river system into 2 halves. First half, that is related to Punjab and Himachal region, Beas, Ravi and Satluj. The eastern rivers, these rivers, the control will be of India's, right? So these are Beas, Ravi and Satluj. We have the control most of the water here. From this region, Satluj is coming, right, near Mansarovar. Indus is also near Mansarovar lake. Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, these 3 rivers, Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, these 3 rivers is under the control of Pakistan, that is known as western river, and eastern rivers are Satluj, Beas and Ravi. So the very important thing is how much area under which these rivers are flowing, like this is the region of these rivers, and below this, so it is only the 20% part that rests with India. That means if a river is 100 kilometer, let assume the river is of 100 kilometer and 20 kilometer is the part of India, in India it is flowing, and 80 kilometer it is flowing in Pakistan. So 80% of water's share will be rest with Pakistan and 20% with India, that means that will rest with India. So India consists 20%, can use the 20% of water of the western river for the irrigation, power generation and transport purpose. What of these rivers? Western rivers which have the control of Pakistan. Is it clear? So it is a very important treaty, Indus Water Treaty, granted 3.6 million acre feet of permissible storage capacity. Dispute over Indus Water Treaty. Why there is a dispute over Indus Water Treaty? Because many times we have created some of the dam. So Pakistan recently sought international arbitration. If India sought to build hydropower project, we have regularly been developing some hydropower project in this area. Though the agreement has been seen one of the most successful water sharing pact, ये आपको ध्यान रखना है. India is regularly developing and it is in the line with the water treaty. Can India revoke the treaty? So a unilateral abrogation of the treaty could attract global criticism. So India cannot revoke this. India cannot stop this treaty. If India is got benefited or not, it is another issue. But if any treaty having problem, that should goes with the proper legislation in the international court. So in New Delhi would only use the river as pressure tactics and threaten Pakistan. In the way I had told that how pressure tactics is applied by the China, and China will develop in near 10 to 15 years 87,000 of them just to pressure tactics to threaten the other countries. In the same way India can also use if in case Pakistan is pressuring is in any way like a nuclear threat, etc. So the very important article I have already discussed that because of the pressure of China, KP Oli government created an issue related to Limpiadhura, Lipu Lake and Kalapani, and they have told that this is a disputed area and it is part of Nepal. Then why? And that is why they showed it in their map. So what and why we will discuss it. So India Nepal territory, India and Nepal's relations are peaceful, but nowadays it is not that good because of the KP Oli government. The way China handling the situation, the way diplomatic pressure on Nepal, because China used to do the checkbook policy. Checkbook policy, what is it? So they used to pay a huge amount to any country. When that country became the debtor of China, then they play their part and they use that country according to their line. We had seen this with Sri Lanka as well, the Hambantota port, and we had seen with many countries, and China is doing this checkbook policy in the African region as well. So the Indo-Nepal territory dispute around Kalapani, Limpiadhura and Lipu Lake region, this is a tri-junction region, and here a river decides that which part of which country. So the current tension is result of combination of factor of India's strategic concern, and we had declined this. So India Nepal relation, Beijing's stable stance in Nepal. Nowadays Beijing has a powerful diplomacy rather than India, and now KP Oli government had been collapsed and worsening, or this is the reason why India-China relation also collapsing. So brief overview of India-Nepal border issue, and that is related to Kali river. This is the river where Indo-Nepal border is originally delineated in Battle of Sugauli 1816, Sugauli Treaty, which established the Kali river as the border with the area east of the river going to. So if this is the Kali river, so eastern part will rest with Nepal and the western part will rest with India. So Kalapani, Limpiadhura and Lipu Lake triangle territory dispute center at the origin of the Kalapani river. Basically it is at the origin of the Kalapani river, and there are various streams. So how to decide it? So Nepal stance is that the river originate from the stream northwest of the Lipu Lake. So what it is saying, northwest of Lipu Lake, one stream here, it is Lipu Lake. So in this case it will be the part of Nepal, yes or no? And which brings Kalapani, Limpiaks and Lipu Lake of its territory. India's stance that the river originate in the spring beneath Lipu Lake. So India says that the spring, that river starting from the glacier, it is just beneath, and hence the area falls with the Pithoragarh district of the state. This is the basic issue. I think ये issue आपको समझ में आ गया होगा. Nepal saying that the stream is like this, India is saying that the stream is like this, and that is why Nepal claiming it, and because of the Chinese pressure they are openly, overtly doing this. Though both the side have map of British period to claim their position. So what is the recent dispute? India recently inaugurated the Darchula Lipulek Pass link. You have heard about a चार धाम रोड डेवलपमेंट है ना. वी हैड सीन अ चार धाम, छोटा चार धाम रोड डेवलपमेंट, दैट इज दारचूला लिपुलेक लिंक रोड, एंड देन दिस इशू arised. So cutting across the disputed Kalapani region, which is used by Indian pilgrimage, this region, basically this region, we move from Uttarakhand to this Tibet region, and ultimately we reach to Mansarovar and Kailash Mansarovar, where we consider that Lord Shiva lives there. So Nepalese government protested this move and pointing out that the construction of the road amounted to territorial encroachment. They have said that there is a territorial encroachment by India. The Nepal granted constitutional validity as well. They have added this into their constitution to its instance through the introduction of constitutional amendment and begin tightening the border security measures. So we have also some dispute in the below region. Nepal border is porous border, easily we can move, but Nepal government has tightened this border security as well. So the last article is related to Myanmar. We have discussed with China, Pakistan, Nepal. Now we come to Myanmar. So Myanmar's protest and what led to military coup in Myanmar. So since the independence, we had seen military rule in Myanmar. But first time in 2008, and before this also we had seen some democracy demand in Myanmar. So their leader Aung San Suu Kyi, in 2015 elections, she had a landsliding victory and she got most of the seat won by Aung San Suu Kyi. So ultimately what is happening, basically I want to tell you one point. If there is military rule, that military rule is beneficial for India. Remember this, because the Myanmar military rule regime, that is aligned with India, and that is why we can have the surgical strike also along the border of Myanmar. But Aung San Suu Kyi bit favorable to China. It favored China, and that is why what is actually the India's look into this issue. So this I want to brief you, just to brief you. So week of demonstration, a deadly crackdown have roiled Myanmar since a February coup. Coup means a sudden, the Takhta Palat, and they had taken the power. Military again had taken the power, in which the fully democratic government was elected, but they coup this and full military rule following years of quasi-democracy. So what is the background? Since independence, there had been a military rule. It was previously known as Burma. Previously capital was Rangoon, but now Naypyidaw is the capital of Burma. 1962, various things happened. Representative of democracy only lasted until 1962. Union of Burma became a parliamentary democracy in initial years, like most of its newly independent neighbor, like Indian subcontinent. But then Ne Win instituted a new constitution in 1974. So Ne Win, on the isolationist policy and socialistic economic program in the Burma's major enterprises. Ultimately, it came military rule in Myanmar. In August 1988, army cracked down on protesters, killing at least 3,000 and displacing thousands and more. There was also an issue of Rohingyas, and ultimately Aung San Suu Kyi had to support the army regime because to have control on any protest, Aung San Suu Kyi is dependent on army. So later we had seen many student protest, and later they were cracked down. And aftermath of 1988 crackdown, Ne Win resigned as chairman of the party, although remained active behind the scene. And military junta, what is junta? It is the parliament of Myanmar, like Knesset. Knesset is the parliament of Israel. So in 1989, new military regime came and the capital Rangoon renamed as Yangon, and later new capital was also declared, that is Naypyidaw. In 2007, saffron revolution is also related to Myanmar. You must aware about this. In 2007, widespread anti-government protests were sparked by fuel price hike. So this also, देखिए, in 2005 Naypyidaw, this became the administrative capital of Myanmar. Saffron color robes worn participating Buddhist monk, and they raised issue against the rising of fuel price. Now 2008 junta pushed forward a new constitution in 2008, which is still in place today, that gave the military widespread power even under civilian rule. So civilian rule के अंडर में military power will be widespread. So such kind of constitution they have developed, that military will also be along with the power of civilian rule, that means democratic government. So the military junta unexpectedly officially dissolved in 2011 and established a civilian parliament for a transitional period. And later we had seen in 2015 Myanmar held first nationwide multi-party election considered to be freest. Here the leader Aung San Suu Kyi, she was under the prison, right? And she was the very famous leader, 75-year-old age lady, and she has also got the Nobel Peace Prize. She was famous in the Myanmar, very famous leader. So freest and fairest election in the decade, and since country transition away from military rule. This was the first time we had seen in the many past years. So Suu Kyi became the Myanmar's de facto leader ultimately in 2015, and 2021 February government overthrown the military coup. So here in this year 2021 February we had seen military coup. So this is Myanmar. Yangon is here. Naypyidaw, it is the capital, administrative capital. Rangoon named as Yangon. So country profile, that its neighbor, Myanmar's neighbor are Thailand, bordered with Thailand, Laos, right, and China, India. These are the border region. Also Bangladesh, this Chittagong. Here from this region the Rohingyas went to Bangladesh, and here in this region Bhasan Char Island, Bangladesh resettled the Rohingyas on this island. So Burma is in Southeast Asia. Neighbor are Thailand, Laos, Bangladesh, China, India. Country got independence from Britain in 1948, and the rule of army from 1962 to 2011. First time in 2015. This was a landslide victory of Aung San Suu Kyi. Out of 476, 396 won by NLD, that is the party of Aung San Suu Kyi. Overwhelming victory, landsliding victory. But ultimately again we had seen a coup, military coup. But I had told you military government is more favorable. Whether India is a democracy, India should not give any good sign in the line of military government or the coup, but this favors India rather than China, right? India has a good control over in this region related to army government, but Aung San Suu Kyi is favored of China. It sees the control 1st February ultimately. So who is Aung San Suu Kyi? She is a daughter of Myanmar's independence hero Jan Aung San, who was died just before the independence, a few days before the independence gained by Myanmar. So she was in house arrest. She had been spent around decades in house arrest, right? So Myanmar first openly contested election for 25 years, became de facto leader. So this is all about Aung San Suu Kyi, an important article I have covered related to India and its neighborhood. I think आपको each and everything would have been clear to you. So one topic from international relation I have covered here, right? I have covered here, and one more thing I want to say, related to international relation, I will come with 3 to 4 topics more. In the same way, we will cover art and culture, environment and ecology, science and technology, Indian geography, polity, places in news, and also schemes, etc. The new schemes. So we will cover this whole current affairs within 40 to 50 lectures. So thank you so much for today. We will see you. I'll see you. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you so much. God bless you all.